We did introduce a new segment last week where we do little wax nostalgia a little bit, and I picked the match Samoa Joe against Scott Steiner from TNA Slammiversary 2006. Joe, what were your thoughts on this match and the gloriousness of TNA in 2006?
Before I get to this match, I was trying to find where the match was, and I came across a Sting promo that I would like to recap on the podcast.
Okay.
Sting was very excited because he said, tonight is the very first King of the Mountain match. Jeremy, I'm here to tell you this was the third King of the Mountain match. Sting apparently, I don't know how this was a thing that Sting thought was happening. He convinced himself it was a fresh new match. I don't know.
Maybe it was his first King of the Mountain match.
Yeah, maybe. I'll give him that much. He also produced a great quote that I would like to be under my name moving forward. He said, after 20 years of wrestling, I can multitask. The Stinger can multitask. Can you argue with that? It took him 20 years, he can multitask.
Yeah, he does this and he does that, Joe. He was multitasking a long time ago.
True, you're right. That was wonderful. This whole weird presentation of like a mishmash of guys that were like indie stars and then just Sting and Scott Steiner and like Kurt Angle is insane. It's bonkers. Kurt's not around at this time, I think. I think he's about to come in. But did you pick up at the Scott Steiner promo? Is that where you started?
Oh, yes. I started with the Scott Steiner promo. Did you watch this promo? This was...
I have big questions.
I transcribed this promo. I do enough transcribing as it is for news writing. I transcribed this promo, Joseph. This promo was just peak, absolute peak Scott Steiner.
Yes. What is the thing where he's like offended that Joe is called Samoa Joe? Why is this thing?
His name is Sloppy Joe.
Yeah, and he's like, in the video page, he's like, I hate that you call yourself that. You're half breed.
Yeah.
What is he talking
He's
about?
not full Samoan. He's not full Samoan. So he shouldn't
why
be.
would that upset him?
Because he goes back with all these Samoans, Afa, Sika,
Okay.
all the Samoans,
True.
Yokozuna, all the Samoans that Scott Steiner has wrestled with throughout his career. He's like, this man is not full Samoan. I know real Samoans. So you calling yourself Samoa Joe? No, it's Samoa Sloppy Joe. That's your name. I got veins. You don't know nothing about that.
I've got that noted. One of my notes, by the way, like, has Scott Steiner actually defeated Triple H?
Yes, I looked
looked
this up. This up. Yes.
Is it true?
Yes. The John Cena one was the one I was like, there's no way Scott Steiner wrestled John Cena. Like,
Yeah.
Cena was just coming up, or Steiner was when Steiner was the star, and then Cena kind of became the star when Steiner was in like the tag team. They wrestled one match, Joe, like a house show, a SmackDown house show.
Wow.
And Scott Steiner won. I looked this up to see if he beat these people was being true, and it is. Amazingly, it is.
So I don't want to step on your bit. Are you going to read this promo, or have you just noted it for the sake of history? I don't want to step on your bit here.
Oh, I can read the promo. I mean,
You don't have to. I just didn't know that was your intention.
I planned on reading the promo.
Please read the promo.
I have props as well.
Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to sit down.
I can't do it as well as Scott Steiner. I don't even know why I'm trying. Okay. Jeremy Borash introduces him and whatever. Samoa Joe's been undefeated by a year. His undefeated streak, he debuted. It's Slammiversary 05, undefeated X Division champion. Okay. Scott Steiner goes, "Don't you call Jesus, let me see correctly.
Full start.
Yes. Don't you call that half-breed Samoa Joe. You call him what he is. That fat bastard, you call him Sloppy Joe. Sloppy Joe, you're going to find out why I have the reputation that I do. I've beaten everybody from Sting to Goldberg to Triple H to Batista to John Cena. I've beaten them all. Who have you beaten, Mr. X Division? Tonight, I know there's some rednecks out in the crowd who are fat, just like you, Joe, who want you to beat me. There's rednecks watching TV right now with fat oozing over their belt line that want you to beat me. I know there's TNA management that wants you to beat me because I don't follow their rules, and they're trying to sell this DVD called The Best of Samoa Joe Unstoppable. Well, this crap is unsellable. Samoa Joe, I'm going to show you why they call me Big Papa Pump. Tonight, Samoa Joe, your win streak ends. Tonight, I kill you.
Okay, I made a note of the last line, and I cannot believe that is the true conclusion of all of this. Is tonight? This is one sentence after that. Tonight your win streak ends. Tonight I kill you. Wow. And then we do a cut to a video package in which Samoa Joe appears to be doing like a UFC countdown bit. And he's like really serious, talking about a fight. And Scott Steiner is just like, he's fat. He's pointing at his arm. And what is the exact quote, Jeremy? Please
he says, I have veins. You know nothing about that.
He's like, you see this? That's a vein. And then it will just cut back to Samoa Joe. He's like, I'm going to choke him out. I'm going to throw some low kicks. So he's just dead. Oh, man. It was a good video package. Like, it actually got me interested in the match. Because when you read this to me, I didn't realise that it was being like framed as like a dream match, which is what I think they were going for. Because Scott was like new enough here that I guess people were excited. I don't know, probably not, right? It didn't seem like it, but
I think people were excited.
Yeah, like it wasn't the version of Scott where he'd been there for 4 years, basically what I'm saying. So I didn't realise that until I watched this. But the walking like human cartoon of Scott Steiner, contrasted with Samoa Joe just being like straight-laced shoot fighter, was amazing. And I have to say, like, when we're about getting this match, I have a few notes on the match. I think we take for granted, Jeremy, how absurd Scott Steiner looked at this time. And he is like ridiculous looking, isn't he? He's humongous. He's so big, it's actually kind of scary, I must say. But this match is like, I don't know how many notes you have on the match, Jeremy, but poor Scott, man. He was trying. There's not a lot here at this point, was there?
No. He was certainly trying. Joe, if this is like your introduction to Samoa Joe, you probably didn't walk away thinking, what's the big deal about this guy? Because he'd been killing it for a year in the X Division with all these great matches. And then he had to just slow down to Scott Steiner's pace. And it wasn't working for 2005 Samoa Joe, who could like really go. I'd like to see Samoa Joe today against 2005 Scott Steiner. It'd be a great match, but this version, or 2005 Samoa Joe against like 90 Scott Steiner, like 92 Scott Steiner, would probably be great. But this, just a big styles clash that they could not get around.
It was weird because they wanted to tell the story of like Joe couldn't out wrestle Scott Steiner. And I was like, I don't know if that was the way to go here, guys. You know, like he was taking him down, and then they did a spot where Joe like spat at him, and it was like, oh, Joe's baiting him into a brawl, and I was like, wait, Joe can't just wrestle. Scott Steiner's like stumbling around the ring. Like, I'm sure that Scott's badass. Don't get me wrong, I'm not questioning the man's toughness, but I wouldn't have had the undefeatable Destroyer getting like technical wrestled by Scott Steiner, just personally.
The match wasn't good. And the Scott Steiner tried to like lift Samoa Joe. They did the corner spot where they do like the corner rock bottom. That looked really bad. I don't think Steiner was taking I remember watching this at the time, and when like Joe won with that power slam, it was just like this huge shock because Joe uses that move all the time and just never won with the power slam. And looking back, it's like, oh yeah, Scott wasn't taking that muscle buster. He just wasn't going to take that.
Why didn't they just do the choke? Why did Scott just stand up when he was in the choke? I finished watching. I was like, it's done. And he just stood up in the middle of the... What happened there? Why did they have to do a power slam finish when he could have just got choked out? I didn't understand.
Scott he wasn't passing out, tapping out. He's like, yeah, sure, I'll take your power slam, and that'll be the finish. I ain't tapping out to this move, though.
I have a range of questions about the announce team, but I have a couple to get into. Firstly, I did want to say, the match is fine when Joe is doing all the offense and Scott is just like teetering, selling, because Joe's offense is still so great at this time and he's so like quick, even against Scott Steiner, that it's like, wow. The issue with the match is when poor Scott is like, I don't even know if you can call it a heat segment because they're cold. These things are cold, man. He's like wandering around. He's looking at the crowd. Mike Tenay at one point suggests that Dom West has felt Scott's wrath on many occasions. What? When did Scott Steiner and Dom... We need to find these. We did the wrong thing here. We should have watched the Dom West Scott Steiner program that apparently happened. I have no idea what this is in reference to. Dom West says at one point, and this is mean on my part, someone who misspeaks often, I shouldn't poke fun. But Dom West at one point says, you don't have to like him, but you love him. And I erupted. What he was intending to say was you have to love his work. Didn't get there. Didn't get that far, did Don. He fell apart. By the way, when Scott Steiner powerbombed Samoa Joe, I was like, I don't know how I convinced myself 14 years in the future that Joe's career was about to end, but I did. I was like, it's over. It's finished. Done.
I was shocked. I didn't remember that powerbomb spot at all, but bless Joe for taking that. It was refreshing to hear Mike Tenay and Don West. Like, very, very refreshing. I know people wanted to dunk on Don West at the time, and like his commentary doesn't age like greatly or anything, but Don West understood what he was there to do, and he did it very well. And you can't deny the man's passion on that. Was he a great commentator? No, but you know, he was the second to Mike Tenay, and Mike Tenay was still very good even at this time. But Don West, it was legitimately refreshing outside of the, you know, the one, it was a 2-man booth. I'm sick of these 3-man booth. That's all nonsense. But the WWE stuff, which is all just it, I've learned to tune that out because it's the same stuff you've heard for 20 years now.
Yes, Mike Tenay does have a gem. I don't want to leave him out of this discussion. Scott Steiner at one point throws Joe out the ring. They're like brawl on the outside, and Mike Tenay says, they're going to take it out to the streets here. Amazing, man. Because they literally just left the ring. And that leads to that weird... I don't know if you could help me with this. This match wasn't no DQ, right?
No.
Why, when Scott Steiner hit Samoa Joe over the head with a steel chair, did Rudy Charles say, you have 10 seconds to get back in the ring, both of you? Why did Samoa Joe get punished for getting hit in the head with a steel chair?
I think it was a thing of, like, relaxed rules type of deal. And then the referee, because he's like, okay, you know, I'm fed up with this outside the ring brawling. Give him 10 seconds or I'm throwing this out. Yeah, Samoa Joe was unfortunately punished for this because, you know, he just got hit in the head with a chair. Now it's like, get in the ring, dude. Like, Joe didn't do anything wrong. But those are the breaks in wrestling, Joseph. Those are the breaks. But
they played it like it was like a double down. Like, Scott hit him in the head with a chair and fell over himself. And the ref was like, wow. It was weird. By the way, before the finish... So they were going for the spot where like Scott gets goozled on the top rope, and oh my,
that was
brother.
Bad.
Scott just landed on his feet and was like, okay. It was. I must admit, like, as much as I find the Scott stuff to be fun, the promos are hilarious. It kind of bummed me out because this is 14 years ago, and I was like, the craziest thing is this is probably the best match Scott Steiner could possibly have in 2006. Like, just because it's almost possible, this is about as good as Scott was getting at that time. And it's just a shame because he was so great in his prime, you know?
He did the top rope Hurricane Rana at one point, like early in his TNA run. And for some reason I thought it was this match, but it wasn't. But I do think he did it in a match against Samoa Joe.
I hope so. He did it a few times, I think, as he went on in the run. He had a match with Kurt Angle that was like all-time bad. To the point where Kurt Angle, after winning the match, was enraged at how bad of a match he just had. But the thing with Scott is he always tried his best, didn't he?
Yeah.
Some of the guys go to TNA and like they brother around. Like Booker T. Look, Booker, if you watch the show, I'm sorry. You did not take the total non-stop action very seriously, pal. Scott Steiner never had that issue. He nearly killed Joe 4 times this match with suplexes. I wouldn't say it's a terrible match. It's almost... it isn't bad enough for me to find it hilarious. It's just kind of a bummer, right? Watching Scott kind of stumble around and try to have a good match and foul. It's a shame.
I picked this match because, one, I didn't remember it. I didn't remember if it was like all-time bad, or I actually thought like it was decent, like passable, and that's why I picked it. I was like, all right, what does my memory tell me about this? But really, I just wanted the promo and the video package because I knew we would watch that. By the way, I don't know if you caught that Easter egg when I held up the DVD. One, I had it backwards, just like Scott Steiner did when he held it up. Yes, 2, it was UFC Unstoppable. I don't have the actual Samoa Joe Unstoppable DVD, but I searched through, I spent like 10 minutes searching through my DVD pile to that just for this bit that no one probably got, and that's why I explained it, because I wanted the recognition for it.
People are watching this channel like, these guys have put more effort into this one match of the week than they have 7 months to show.